Good day, dear readers, viewers, watchers, and listeners. I pray all is well out there. I thank you for continuing with me as we continue in the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. We're still in the chapter Revelation of the Holy Virgin Mary. This chapter is the beginning of our last few chapters, in fact, each of which is pretty lengthy, maybe about 100 pages-ish or so-ish. So we will be in this chapter for quite some time, just so you know. So we continue. We resume play and we begin. Jesus entered the palace and said, "What else do you want from me? If it is help, then I will give it to you." "If you want to put me in a basement again, then you will not succeed. The people outside won't let you." Pontius Pilate pointed at Antipas and Sapphira and replied, "No, Jesus, those two just want to talk to you. I can see it in their eyes and hear it in their thoughts that they came here meaning me harm, and I'm not going to talk to them. There's no point." Antipas yelled, "You petty beggar, how dare you talk to us this way? For I am king." "For I am king," Jesus replied. "You are king? You say, 'For I am king'?" Again, I am king too, and it is for me to decide with whom I should converse. Jesus turned around and left. Claudia was standing nearby, and she was smiling to herself, thinking, "You did well, Jesus. You really are not of this world." Antipas yelled, "Sapphira, go ahead and carry out the order I'd given you." Claudia heard every word, but pretending that nothing happened. Sapphira left the house, and Antipas rushed onto the street, jumped on his horse, and galloped away, accompanied by his soldiers. "Claudia, I don't feel right about all of this. Something is holding me back. I see nightmares, and I feel something is happening to me. I just don't understand what and why." Claudia blurted out, "It is your conscience tormenting you because this man's life depends on you. You see God in him, but are too afraid to acknowledge that. I'm tired with all of you and want to have some rest. Well, you better think everything over very thoroughly, and your conscience might spare you. Otherwise, it might kill you. Pontius Pilate looked back at Claudia and went to his bedroom. Safiyet started to find his way among the locals gradually. He began cautiously questioning everyone about Jesus to provoke people to throw stones at him. People left by Barbius to protect Jesus had their suspicions about Safiyet and persuaded him to behave. That persuasion took place in a secluded place, and it would appear that Safiyet learned that lesson very well. He failed at his first attempt to turn people against Jesus and couldn't force himself to try to do something for the second time, seeing that everyone trusted Jesus and because he was afraid. So he just disappeared and decided to wait for the right moment, hoping to find someone to work for him as a paid confidential informant. Judas asked him, "What will I have to do?" "Nothing too complex. You'll just have to tell me about the activity of your teacher." "All right, because I too see him as a devil with horns." "Good man, Judas. I knew I would find someone like you willing to assist our church. You'll soon become rich. For now, take these 4 silver coins, and I'm going to be waiting for your reports. Specifically, my people are going to be waiting for you in every settlement you all visit. You'll be telling them everything, and they'll pass it on to me. So be diligent and don't miss anything. I need to know everything. All right, take another silver coin." Judas happily took silver coins and left. Safiyet was more than happy of such an outcome. He thought, "Wish I knew earlier that it'd be so easy to bribe a disciple of God. If that teacher has such disciples, then the teacher is the same. To sum it up, he is a fraud that fools people." Judas thought to himself, "Who am I in comparison with the teacher? Just a pauper. I'm not going to survive only by preaching. And now I have an opportunity to get rich and report more and more on Jesus. And the more I report, the richer I will become." Safiyet went to Jerusalem, and upon his arrival, he immediately met with Herod Antipas. "Well, were you able to carry out my order, Safiyet?" "Yes, Honorable Antipas. I did everything you asked me to." And he told about everything that happened. Antipas smiled with joy. You see now, where do his teachings lead? To betrayal. And if he's being betrayed, then that means that he's all ours. His every word and every move shall be known to us. And you, Safiyet, better not fail me. I know that it's in your best interest too, because you like money too, right? Safiyet's face went red. Then Antipas angrily added, That vagabond didn't want to talk to me, the king. I'm going to show him who's who. The liar from heaven shall beg me for mercy on his knees. And he laughed again. Safiyat told him, Antipas, just be aware that he still possesses some power. Many people believe him. Antipas replied, he has no such power. All the power, my dear Safiyat, is in the money. And that kind of power is incomparable with all of that talking. He does a lot of talking. And again, it's incomparable, that kind of power with all of the talking he does. Safiyat answered, I get what you mean, and left. Antipas stayed and continued to ponder and dream about what he's going to do with that unrighteous person and trying to come up with different types of punishment. Pontius Pilate was thinking to himself, if Antipas really does something disgraceful towards Jesus, then he'll have to judge him. But how could he? After everything he saw Jesus could do, he could really perform miracles that couldn't be denied. So what should he do? He was unjust to a lot of people, but this case turned out to be a special one. What if he really was sent on earth by God? But where was the proof of that? Were his miracles and that the moon touched the earth's ground enough? If one were to believe him, then one would go mad. Perhaps he should wait and see, and then time will tell. Why was Claudia so eager to protect him? It was hard for him to understand. Pontius Pilate's inner voice told him, seek the truth inside yourself and in your own sense of justice. Pontius Pilate shook his head and thought, I think the search has already begun. How can I get the thoughts that direct me to Jesus off of my mind? I guess it'd be better to invite him here to talk. Only then I'd be able to have some rest. It seems like I have no other choice. The sooner I invite him here to talk, the better it'll be for me. Jesus and the rest of his disciples were getting ready for a trip. Pontius Pilate's carriage stopped in front of the house, and he was there alone. When he saw me, he said, I want to talk to your son. I called Jesus. He came to Pontius Pilate. Well, what else do you want from me? Nothing except one thing. I'd like to invite you to my house this evening. I hope we'll be able to talk amicably then. But that, as luck would have it. But we really need to talk for you Jesus, need to clarify some things for me to understand, just to understand them better. All right, Pontius Pilate, we have little time, but I'll come to you and accommodate your whim. But right now, I don't understand you. First, you meet me with lashes, and now you treat me with sweets. I invite you to my place to avoid things like that in the future. Well, I'll come then. Pontius Pilate went away. I asked Jesus, what did he want with you? Mom, I think he fears not only me, but his corrupt conscience. And he wants to talk to me to ease his suffering. Although I have no desire to visit with him. Beware, Jesus. I don't want anything bad to happen to you, because we can't trust people like him. Mom, everything will be all right, and you know that Father is always watching over me. You go inside and rest before the trip, and I'll go and visit Pontius Pilate. Let him be happy that God's going to visit his place for the third time. Third time is the charm, isn't it, Mom? Go, Jesus. I'll be waiting eagerly for your arrival. Jesus went to Pontius Pilate alone. At the palace's entrance, servants were already waiting for him. And they kindly invited him inside and accompanied him into one of the chambers where Pontius Pilate and his wife Claudia had been waiting for him. When Pontius saw Jesus, he offered him a seat. To tell the truth, I wasn't sure you'd come. I thought you would act the same as you did with Herod Antipas. Well, as you can see, that isn't the case, Pontius Pilate. Better tell me, why did you decide to invite me here, and why would you sit near a charlatan and a crook? Jesus, maybe you will not believe me, but my own conscience made me do that. I personally wanted to hear you explain to me who you are. Can't you see that an ordinary man sits before you? Yes, I see a man before me, and I also see the man that performs miracles. Strange you saw them, but nevertheless didn't believe in them. You are a strange one, Pilate. Not me. My strangeness consists in the fact that I introduce something new into people's consciousness, that some people see that new things as something odd and unacceptable because they got used to the old ways. That is why my Heavenly Father sent me here on earth, to create something new. And I only carry out His will by introducing people to the new faith in God. But how can you alone change anything, everything? Why alone? I have disciples and people that believe in me, follow me, but not Antipas and not Sapphira. Listen to me. Please, listen, Pontius Pilate. Nothing can stop me. My deeds are for the sake of goodness and love to people. You won't find any evil, as well as you won't find any sorcery in my miracles. My Father and his heavenly kingdom are supporting me. Okay, as a governor, I want to see your heavenly Father. Pontius Pilate looked at his son first. As soon as the time comes, you will see my Father. But again, first, look at me, his son, first. And you will have a different conversation with him. Claudia stopped her head and whispered, God, if you do exist, forgive us sinful as you see what is guiding us. In this young man, I see all the purest in kindness, whereas our family is deep in disgrace. Save my husband, if you can do it. Claudia, get out and leave us alone. Leaving the room, Claudia thought, if we wrong this man, there will be a place for us neither on earth nor in heaven. Pontius Pilate was silent. He looked nervous. Jesus, help yourself, he suggested, him coming up to the table. Thank you. I am not hungry. I see your soul. It wants my blood, and not to drink wine with me. You see so much, Jesus. It won't do any good to you. Do you know what all higher ranks and priesthood think of you? Sure, I see them all. Their vibrations, I feel them and have felt them from very childhood age. Remember, Pontius, how many small children were killed by order of Herod. At that time, he was scared of God's Son. Now, Herod does not have any greatness there in the kingdom of heaven. Why would I tell you all of that? I want you to stumble. Your consciousness is bothering you. There must be a reason for that. Yes, Jesus, you are right. I have nightmares. In these nightmares, I see myself in a dark place, and hairy beasts are torturing me. Help me not to see it again. I'll help you, but only for some time. Jesus took a jar with wine and held it for some time in his hands. Drink it up and you'll feel better. But keep in mind, you'll feel fine till the first misdeed you perpetrate. Pontius Pilate drank the wine. I don't feel wine flavor. Is it vinegar? It does not matter. Most important is that you believe me. Go home, Jesus. Our conversation turned out to be different from what I had expected. You assured me in something. Jesus left the chamber and met Claudia. Jesus, forgive us and beg you, help us when you are in trouble. I will try to help you, not him. I see now that I am losing my husband as he doesn't want to change. Good, Claudia. I'll do my best to help you, but it's hard to change him. Jesus, those people you refuse to talk to, beware, as they are up to something against you. Claudia, I know that I am God's son. I see, Claudia, that you have a very kind soul, but dip yourself in a dirty bath. Jesus, you are so right. That is why I'm so worried about my family. Claudia, we'll meet again as fate would have it, and we will see who is who in reality. Goodbye for now. I need to continue my path. I think you will keep this meeting with me in your memory. What memory will it be? That's for you to decide. Coming back home, Jesus saw that everybody was waiting for him. Mom, it is all right. We can move on freely to Fear Kana. On the next midday, we went forth. We were leaving Caesarea with an uncertain feeling. It was either joy or sadness. It was a cloudy day with rare, warmingly embracing sunshine. We went unplanned and looked back at Caesarea. The settlement was covered with a bluish haze. We noticed as well that a chariot was pursuing us. There was a lady in it, and sometimes she got up to us. It was Claudia. She came up to Jesus, hugged him, and started crying. I wanted you to stay in Caesarea, but I see that no one can hold you. Jesus, don't judge me, and please accept my gifts for your journey. I don't give you money. I have brought you food. Thank you, Claudia. The one who gives bread gives life. I'll take it. Take my chariot as a present. There is a woman with you. You should take care of her, as your journey is not easy. Claudia, if you mean it, we will accept your present. Jesus, accept it from the depth of my heart and from all the good that I have inside of me. I did not only like you, but I also loved all of you. If I could, I would follow you. Thank you for your honesty, Claudia. Remember the ways of God are inscrutable. Go back home, and may your strength be always with you. Claudia went back home. We slowly started to move forward. Caesarea melted away, and a figure of a small woman disappeared in a bluish haze. We were moving off, carrying the truth forward. Our hope was all around us. It was shining so bright, enlightening our path and giving us the strength to support and encourage the life of God's creation. We left the highland behind and found to be in the embrace of the desert. Wind-driven sand was whirling above, and as if we happened to enter another world. The heart was unbearable. Everybody was so tired. Shall we stop for rest, Jesus? No, Mom. We shall go on. Snakes and lizards are moving so quickly. It means the storm is coming. I got into the chariot, and I didn't like snakes. Jesus understood me and smiled. The wind was blowing. The rumbles of thunder were somewhere close. Soon it went dark and it started raining. We were moving forward, wet and exhausted. When the storm calmed down, the sun appeared again. It became so fresh, and we felt relieved. We saw a boulder ahead. I thought at that moment, why is it here in the desert where only sand is around? There was a figure of a man standing in front of it. He was tall and had very long hair. He seemed to be the same age as my son. We stopped. A young man greeted us. "Travelers, who are you?" Jesus introduced himself. "I am God's son, Jesus, the Savior from Nazareth. I'm going to Kfir Cana with my disciples and my mother." The young man dropped to his knees. "Jesus, God gave me a chance to meet you. I heard a lot about you from the prophets, and I know I can see the real God alive. How lucky my destiny is. It allowed me to see and hear you. My name is John the Forerunner." Jesus looked at him. "John, you are looking strange. Why so?" He was wearing a rough tissue dress made of camel wood and a leather belt. "Jesus, I am a lonely pilgrim, carrying the truth of God. That is why I am dressed like that. I eat everything I can find. My meal consists of locusts and wild honey. But it doesn't matter. Most important is that I met you. My meal, I met you. Yes, John, our path is not easy. Jesus, it's hard only for our bodies, but there is no burden on the soul. I feel high. I preach the same as you do among the people, and they believe me as they believe you. Who doesn't? Just send me out in the way, the same way as they do to you. However, I still see that neither of you two groups believe. Since my early childhood, I left my father's house and was wandering along the desert for many years. I made an oath to be here till the day, until the day I met you. Those who need me always find me, both the blinds and the believers. A huge fireball came down from heaven, and a man went out of this ball. His name was the Archangel Gabriel. He told me, John, you'll be a Baptist of the human souls. You'll remove their sins from there using water. Remember, the God human is already on earth. So remember, the God human is already on earth. His name is Jesus. You'll meet him and you will baptize him. So far, here in the desert, you'll meet many people who need you. You'll have many challenges, but keep up the courage. You'll be guided by those who are stronger. Since that time, I have been waiting for this day. Finally, all said by the Archangel Gabriel came true. I have now all the right to leave the desert and to come back to people and preach for the sake of God and you. Will feel much easier to meet again any challenges on our way. Dear readers, we will pause and stop there. We will resume play another day, another time, in the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. Thank you. Good day, and God bless.